This year's #1 ranker. He is also a student of UPSC Vision Abhyaas. He took 2021, 22, 23 prelims, and he also took 2022 and 23 mains. Out of top 50 ranks, at least 1/3 of them have already taken Abhyaas. Instead of working for all the 100 questions, which is not possible, they can focus on around 60-70 questions. If they are happy, they have a peace of mind. If they have peace of mind, they will have presence of mind. With presence of mind, they will be successful.
Hello aspirants, welcome to our conversation series with esteemed faculty members of VisionIAS. In today's video, we have with us Pavan sir of Governance. Welcome sir.
Thank you.
Sir, UPSC Prelims is on 16 June 2024. It is hardly 2 months left. So in this context, what are the key challenges that students face in this period?
First and foremost, students must remember that whatever they have studied in the past 1 year or so, they must be in a position to retain whatever they have studied. Second, they must also identify any new area which they can cover in these 2 months, because the prelims examination is getting highly unpredictable. These are the two things they can look for in these 2 months. Third thing they can also look for is practicing the question papers. These are the three things that I think students will find it difficult in these coming 2 months.
Sir, given your vast experience, what suggestions would you give to the students to address these challenges?
First and foremost, again, they must identify the topics where they can focus on. For example, if you look at the prelims question papers, UPSC is following a very standard pattern. They are asking around 14 questions from polity and governance, around 14-15 questions from economy, around 15-16 questions from history, and around 35 questions from geography and environment. From these topics, they have to identify where they are going to get maximum number of marks. For example, from polity and governance, out of 14 questions, they can easily get 80% of the questions right. If you look at 2023 prelims paper, cutoff is around 86 or 87 marks. That means they don't have to get more than 45 questions right. Instead of working for all the 100 questions, which is not possible, they can focus on around 60-70 questions. This is where I think students can be a little bit more focused in terms of their preparation.
Sir, what about time management? Because a lot of students face a lot of challenge in terms of managing their time between revising the static part, the current affairs part, and also taking test and revision part.
And for this time management, I would suggest that our PP 365 vision can be really helpful for the students, because it contains most of the relevant information from examination point of view. Secondly, they can also identify the topics, as I mentioned, from polity. They are asking questions from say fundamental rights, constitution, DPSPs. If they can focus only on those topics, they would be able to complete the syllabus, and they can also get maximum questions right also. And next thing is that as part of time management, students also have to give a specific time for each subject, because if they believe that one subject is difficult for them, they can give a little bit more time. For example, science and technology or environment or geography, they can spend a little bit more time on them, because they are asking around 35 questions from these topics. And if the topics which they feel are easy, they can spend a little bit less time on them, so that overall optimization will be taking place.
Sir, it is said that taking test and analyzing one's performance is key to doing well in this exam. In this context, what is Abhyaas Prelims 2024 all about?
Just now we have seen the final results of UPSC also, and this year's #1 ranker. He is also a student of UPSC Vision Abhyaas. He took 2021, 22, 23 prelims, and he also took 2022 and 23 mains. And if you look at it, out of top 50 ranks, at least 1/3 of them have already taken Abhyaas. I don't have to tell more about the significance of this Abhyaas from UPSC Prelims perspective. Out of every one student, out of 3 students who are writing the prelims, they are taking Abhyaas. So what is the significance of Abhyaas? Why students are opting for Abhyaas? First and foremost, the relevance of the question papers. They should not feel bad if they are not able to score well. Take this Abhyaas as some kind of a practice, and focus more on the analysis that is given as part of the answers. and make sure that you are remembering the facts along with the analysis that is being given in Abhyaas. And also make sure that from one test to second test, they are improving in terms of their score. This is how Abhyaas can be effective weapon for the students to crack UPSC prelims.
Sir, if students have to effectively utilize Abhyaas for their preparation, what strategies they should adopt?
If they have to, make use of Abhyaas, first and foremost, take this examination very seriously. If it is possible, go to the examination center and take the examination in exam conditions. That really helps them to overcome all the nerves in the UPSC examination. As we say, when you have presence of mind, your success will always be with you. And this kind of practice in Abhyaas can really help them to clear the UPSC examination also. And the second thing, as I said, is that in this Abhyaas, the questions are mostly similar to what you find in UPSC examination also. From that sense, they can even identify with the questions in the UPSC prelims examination also. And thirdly, the facts that are given and also the kind of analysis that is being given after the test, that will be really helpful for them, because not only it provides information about the question, they also provide a lot of other information which is necessary from the question point of view. And definitely questions can be asked in UPSC also from these Abhyaas tests. So I would suggest to the students to take this Abhyaas with utmost seriousness, like the way they take UPSC Prelims Examination.
Wonderfully said, sir. So moving on to subject specific part. So governance is primarily linked or seen as a subject for mains. But when it comes to prelims, what are the key areas or what should be the approach of student for prelims for governance?
And if you look at the changes in the pattern of UPSC examination in prelims, in the last few years, UPSC is focusing more on governance, for the simple reason that after they get into services, all of them are going to be administrators, and they needed basic knowledge of governance. That is the reason why what UPSC is doing is they are dividing this governance into broadly two parts. One is conceptual parts. They are testing basic knowledge about the governance, the concepts. For example, the question like what is the role of civil services in a democracy, and they are asking questions like comparison between similarity between, say, Mahatma Gandhi and Karl Marx in terms of the societies, their ultimate objective of societies. These are all the conceptual things which UPSC is expecting the students to have better knowledge. Second, as a civil servant, they are expected to implement the various schemes of the government, and for that they need to have in-depth knowledge about those schemes. If you take 2021 prelims question paper, out of 100 questions, 10 questions were directly from only the schemes, 10% of the questions. So that is where governance can become very, very important. Thirdly, they are also expecting the students to have knowledge about the laws, rules and regulations of the country. Again, they can be divided into two parts. What we can say is that the present Indian administration is a continuation of the colonial past. So we have so many colonial laws, and they are asking those laws which are in the news in the recent time. For example, last year, they have asked a question about Official Secrets Act, Indian Evidence Act, Arms Act. They were all there in the news, and they are going back to those original laws and they are asking the questions. So I would expect the students to look into the current events and also the legislations related to those current events. That is how we can easily guess the question papers. And another thing is that, as I mentioned, they have to be very careful about governance schemes. As you know, there are so many schemes. So how can they remember all those schemes? That is where they have to be doing a little bit of more rational preparation.
Sir, when it comes to governance schemes, which areas should the students focus more on?
So if you look at again the previous year's question papers, every year they are asking questions related to schemes related to women, whether it is Janani Suraksha Yojana or any other schemes. So I would, last year the questions were about self-help groups. So I would expect them to first focus on schemes related to women. Second, they are also asking questions related to farmers, Pradhan Mantri Kisan, Samman Yojana, PM Kisan. And they are also asking questions related to food security. They have asked so many questions related to food security. This time they can ask questions about Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. And fourth, they are asking questions related to rural development and urban development. It can be about smart cities, it can be about smart villages, and it can be about other schemes, governance schemes related to both rural and urban development. And finally, they are also asking questions related to employment, various employment generation schemes. For example, PM Swanidhi, recently also our Prime Minister has spoken highly about these schemes. So whatever the schemes that are there in the news from these 6 topics, if they can prepare around 30 schemes, you can expect at least 4 questions from those 30 schemes.
And sir, what exactly should we prepare when we prepare schemes? What areas should we look into?
Yes, first and foremost, they should focus on when the scheme was started. Second, who are the beneficiaries of the schemes? Third, what kind of benefits they will be receiving from those schemes. And fourth, what is the categorization done by the government with regard to those schemes. If you look at all the schemes that were asked in the previous years, this is what exactly they were focusing on.
So traditional topics from governance such as RTI, civil service, neutrality, all these areas, how important they are from prelims point of view?
Again, all of them can be linked to current events. I'll just give you one example here. Recently, Supreme Court in the electoral bond case has ruled that right to information is part of our fundamental rights under Article 19(1)(a) of our Constitution. And we can expect the same question in our prelims this year. And because in the previous years, if you look at it, Supreme Court has asked questions related to fundamental rights. Similarly, in the electoral bonds case itself, Supreme Court has ruled that this electoral bonds violated Article 14 of our Constitution, right to equality. So these are all the things which are related to both governance and polity. What I expect the students is to develop this kind of interlinkages and find out those topics which are both interlinked between governance and polity, where it is, as you mentioned, right to information, or for that matter, civil services. These are all the things definitely they can ask in the main exam, prelims examination.
Sir, managing stress and anxiety is a crucial challenge for the aspirants. So in this context, sir, how do the aspirants maintain their mental health in this period and on the day of exam?
This is what normally we teach in ethics paper also. The essence of human life is to remain happy forever. If they are happy, they have a peace of mind. If they have peace of mind, they will have presence of mind. With presence of mind, they will be successful. It is not the success that gives you happiness, it is the happiness that gives you success. And that is what they must do. They must keep themselves completely free from any kind of anxieties or insecurities, because we don't know anything about the future. If we don't know about the future, let us be more optimistic about the future. Let the students go to the examination hall with the conviction that they are definitely going to clear this examination. And that really helps them to overcome any kind of insecurity or anxieties and have that kind of peace of mind, have that kind of confidence in themselves. They are going to do the things. That is more than enough, nothing else. Have confidence in themselves, have confidence in the supernatural power or God.
So lastly, what would be your final message to the aspirants who are going to appear in this year's prelims exam?
And there is no better solution, or there is no better advice than what Lord Krishna has mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, Nishkam Karma. Do your duty and don't worry about the outcome. Focus on the work you are performing and derive maximum amount of happiness from the work you are performing. Outcome will always be there and it will always be favorable to you. And in that manner, you can always be successful and you will always be successful. Don't worry about the insecurities. In spite of all the insecurities and uncertainties in this examination, those who are expected to clear will always clear. Have that kind of confidence in you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable insights.
Thank you.
Dear students, we hope that this conversation series was useful to you. On that note, we wish you all the best for the upcoming prelims exam 2024.